Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have some breaking news today. Palantir has announced its inaugural federal advisory board. Now, this was an interesting piece of news today. Let's get right into the press release. Let's break it down. Let's see what they are talking about. Senior national security leaders to advise us advise its U.S. government business. Palantir Technologies today unveiled members of its inaugural Palantir Federal Advisory Board. Inaugural means they did not have this federal advisory board before, the PFAB. This highly respected group of leaders will provide their expert perspectives on today's defense, intelligence, and homeland security challenges, enabling Palantir to continue to meet and evolve its complex needs of its U.S. government customers. So, very interesting. There's a lot of thoughts I have on this. Members of the board include the Honorable Christine H. Fox, former acting Deputy Secretary of Defense; General Carter Am, former Commander, United States Africa Command; Honorable Deborah Lee James, former Secretary of the United States Air Force; Admiral W.H. McCraven, former Commander, U.S. Special Ops Command; Vice Admiral Peter F. Neffiger, former Vice Commander to the United States Coast Guard. Okay. Very, very interesting. And then this guy, Honorable Jency Johnson, former Secretary of Homeland Security, counselor to Palantir. Now, before we get back into the press release, because I think what I'm about to say right now, we're basically going to read in the press release and sort of understand how it's interacting. When I first saw this news, I woke up this morning, went on Twitter, saw that they put out this news. Number one thing I thought was lobbying. I mean, this is basically lobbying at the end of the day. It's a very strategic form of lobbying. Palantir needs to win more governmental contracts. There's a lot of governmental contracts in the United States. The United States federal government just passed a spending policy that has $700 billion allocated to defense spending. A lot of that defense spending, as Shyam Sankar, the COO of Palantir, said over the past couple of weeks at the Morgan Stanley conference, that's going to be spent soon. I mean, a lot of that has to be spent literally by July, because by September, a lot of that money runs out. So a lot of the contracts for defense in the United States are going to start going out over the next couple of months. Palantir wants to win those contracts, okay? So it's like Palantir wants to win these contracts. We know they've got the best tech. We know they've got level 5 security clearance with the DoD, about to be level 6, and very few companies, if any, have. I don't think anyone has level 5 security clearance, which means Palantir's in the best situation to get there. We also know that Cathie Wood sold a lot of Palantir. I mean, all of her Palantir. She took a $400 million loss on that position. And what was the reason? Because she thinks there's going to be slowdown in the governmental business. And they doubled down on this 3 times. Once in the newsletter, once with Brett Winton on Meet Kevin's podcast, and another one with, I think, Sam, who was on their webinar, reiterating the same points. Government is slowing down. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this is a perfect way to continue to enhance the governmental business. Like, when I saw this, I literally was just like, okay, so Palantir is going to just get these people that have major ins with the government. You're talking about former Secretary of the United States Air Force type of people, highly decorated individuals that know what they're doing in the context of the government, know what they're doing in the context of defense, and their opinions matter when the United States is like trying to figure out what to do in a certain scenario. I mean, these are people that are consulted because of their relationship and their experience with working with the United States government and military. Now they're on the board of a company that is trying to get governmental contracts, and that board is advising the company on how to best effectively do it. That's a perfect solution. I mean, like, it just makes all the sense in the world. I think this is one of the most strategic things they can do, just from a pure lobbying perspective. If there's 2 companies going for a contract and you've got the former Secretary of the United States Air Force on the board of one of those companies, she has to make 1 call, 2 calls. She has to get into some meetings and say, hey, no, I think Palantir is the right one to do it. Very simple to me. I mean, like, very simple. And it's not because, like, it's not even from a business perspective she wants Palantir to do it. They're going to be asking these people objectively, do you think, like, which one's better? Now, they are on the board of Palantir, so I'm not sure how objective that can be. But regardless, this is good for Palantir's business to get more contracts, to secure contracts, to retain contracts in the U.S. government, and more importantly, to have allies within the company itself. And when you're a member of a board, you are intimately involved in that company, to be able to branch out and actually have resources and allies to be able to get new things done, to be able to get new contracts, or to be able to integrate in different situations. These are powerful, powerful people that are now connected to Palantir's inaugural federal advisory board, which to me makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's almost like Facebook. They have this like board that determines around censorship and moderation. It's supposed to be like an independent board that Facebook has no control over, so that when someone is censored, you can't blame Facebook around it. And like, regardless of how you feel about that, that board influences kind of a lot of how Facebook, gains traction on its business, is able to make policy decisions, etc. If the PFAB that Palantir is now putting onto its organization is able to influence the types of contracts they get and their ability to win contracts, because also if I'm if I'm the U.S. government and I'm giving and there's two companies I give contract to, and one company has this entire board of directors theoretically that has like 70, 80, 100 years of combined experience working at the highest levels of defense for the military, and I am giving a defense contract. Which company am I going to give it to? Am I going to give it to the company that has all these special people that are advising the company on how to effectively do it, so I know that the product they're creating probably is going to be better than the other company because they have the advisement, the strategic consulting of people on the literal board of their company? Or am I going to give it to a company that's cheaper, might get the job done, but I don't know if the job is going to be at the excellent level I need? And when we're talking about defense, you need it to be at an excellent level. I think this is a no-brainer. I think this is a no-brainer. I think this makes a lot of sense. So let's read through this. The board reaffirms Palantir's commitment to the U.S. government and puts first-class advisors at the intersection of Palantir and its governmental customers. This group of experts have first-hand experience facing America's most urgent threats. As pioneers of innovators, they know that institutions charged with protecting the United States can no longer do so adequately without the kind of readily deployable emerging technology that companies like Palantir offer, which is why they joined the board of Palantir in the first place. Carp. From the outset, Palantir has built software to solve the most critical problems facing the United States and its allies abroad. We invited these national security leaders to join our first governmental advisory board because of the exceptional contributions they've made to this country in their years of public service, as well as the expertise and unwavering integrity they have brought to addressing the most significant national security challenges we collectively face. Interesting. Okay. We're excited to formally welcome these leaders to the Palantir team, said Aki Jain, president of Palantir USG. I did a video about him a while ago. If you just type in actually, I'll leave it in the description. You guys can check it out. He's talking about like AI and data as an infrastructure. He wrote an amazing letter, and that will be in the description. At the heart of everything we do and every mission we undertake is an unequivocal commitment to maintaining America's technological superiority. These national security leaders have a combined 230 years of firsthand experience in addressing our most complex threats. They understand how advanced technologies are profounding, changing the national security landscape as we advise on how to more effectively translate our cutting-edge tech into operational advantage for our governmental partners. This is interesting, man. This is really interesting. So then they talk about it could be counterterrorism or planning for different forms of competition, geopolitical complexity. Let's read the last quote. Throughout my time in the Navy and in particular with Special Operations community, having superior technology was instrumental in achieving success on the battlefield, Admiral McRaven said. I am proud to be part of a company that works relentlessly to solve the country's most complex problems, and I look forward to working with the engineers and the leadership team at Palantir to help empower the next generation of young warriors. This is big, bro. Like I don't see Palantir losing that many governmental contracts when you have an entire board that is advising the company and that's made up of people that are some of the most decorated people in the government. I mean, from a pure business sense, this is why this board was created. There's two elements. Number one, the board was created to help Palantir make better decisions, make better technology, have better input when they're creating the technology, consult with people that can help them understand how this could be used in an operational situation. All of that's great. That's gravy. But what's the turkey? That's gravy on top of the turkey. What's the turkey? Or sorry, the mashed potatoes. What's the real mashed potatoes? Do people put gravy on their turkey? I don't know. I don't eat turkey that much. What's the real deal? The real meal is the fact that when they're going to get a contract and the government looks at one company with this board of directors that's advising them and another company that doesn't have these people, I mean, where does that contract go? Where does that contract go? It seems kind of inevitable to me that this was done from a strategic sense and also from a business sense for them to be able to just land more contracts because they have better support. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a company that has more support from all of these people and you're getting strategic advisement from all these people, your product will probably be better than everyone else that doesn't have that support or that strategic guidance or vision because you don't have those people that are on a board that is connected intimately with your product and your company. Simple. I think this is great news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. An article will be up on this probably in a day on dailypalantir.com where I'll give my full thoughts and analysis on what as well. But this is interesting stuff. I mean, when I saw this news, I think this is one of those pieces of news that's not going to get that much attention as it should because it's kind of boring. But when you think about it in the context of why Cathie Wood sold and why people are thinking is the government business going to keep up? I mean, this makes a lot of sense to me. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you thought about my analysis. Does it make sense? Am I reaching here or is there an actual point? And looking forward to reading your comments. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.